Ready? Thank you, sir. Hello, this is the regular scheduled meeting of the Collection Service Board. Thank you all for joining us here via Webex. I know this is a kind of a different season that we're all in, and but so thankful for that we have the technology to continue to conduct business efficiently. So thank you all for going through those extra measures to participate. Let me go ahead and call the meeting to order then. And so since we've done that, we'll need to go ahead and read the notice of meeting. The notice of May 13, 2020 meeting of the Collection Service Board meeting was posted to the Collection Service Board website on May 6, 2020. For roll call, Bart Howard.
Here.
Josh Holden.
Present.
Chip Hillman.
Here.
Great. That's everyone. Everyone's accounted for. We do have quorum, Chair. We'll move on to the statement of necessity. Anytime we do electronic, remote, telephonic meeting, then we have to read a statement of necessity. Of course, all of our votes will be roll call vote. Let me read that statement of necessity and have that entered into the record. According to TCA 844-108B2, if a physical quorum is not present at the location of a meeting of a governing body, the governing body must file such determination of necessity, including the recitation of the facts and circumstances on which it was based, with the Office of Secretary of State no later than 2 working days after the meeting. Furthermore, TCA 844-108A3 defines necessity as matters to be considered by the governing body at that meeting require timely action by the body. That physical presence by a quorum of the members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and that participation by a quorum of the members by electronic or other means of communication is necessary. This is the regular scheduled meeting for the Collection Service Board, and the purpose of today's meeting with all of the members attending by teleconference or WebEx is to discuss the agenda as noticed on the website earlier. We will get that filed over there to the Secretary of State's office, and Hugh will take care of that for us. But for us to do that, we'll have to make it official. Do we have a motion to accept the statement of necessity as written?
So moved.
Is that Chip?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Hellman. We have a motion by Mr. Hellman. Do we have a second?
Bart seconds.
We have a second by Mr. Howard. For roll call vote, Bart Howard.
Aye.
Josh Holden.
Aye.
Chip Hellman.
Aye.
All right, statement of necessity has passed, which gives me an opportunity to introduce to you our new staff attorney. Hugh Cross will be joining us today. Ashley Thomas, she was promoted to supervising attorney. And so she's no longer will be assigned to this board, at least as the staff attorney. She'll be also always providing support, so we always have her expertise nearby. Hugh's been instrumental and integral into helping us with much of our Cosmo and Barber side of the shop. He's done a fantastic job there, and so of course they say no good deed goes unpunished. And I say that in tongue in cheek, but he's been given more and more responsibility to include this board as well. So he's with us today, very able-bodied individual, and he'll be able to assist us with anything that we have. So Hugh Cross, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No,
I just wanted to say,
oh, go ahead.
welcome you. This is Bart. Glad to have you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, please let me know if anyone has any questions. I'm glad to help.
All right, thank you, Hugh. And he's been read up, and of course, Ashley's been a lot on some of our emails to get us prepared for this meeting, and just to kind of get us all caught up. So he's in a good place and position to assist with whatever may come up. And thank you all for that greeting, but also Hugh for addressing the board. The agenda. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the agenda or any revisions to the agenda?
Move we approve. This is Chip.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hellman. We got a motion from Mr. Hellman to accept the agenda as written. Do we have a second?
Second. This is Josh.
Thank you, sir. We got a second from Mr. Hellman. Roll call vote. Bart Howard.
Aye.
Josh Holden.
Aye.
Chip Hellman.
Aye.
All right, the agenda's passed. We'll move on to the February minutes. Let's go ahead. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the February minutes? Okay. We'll
I think that's
entertain.
fine.
Okay.
This is Bart. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the February meeting.
Thank you, sir. We got a motion from Bart Howard to approve the February minutes. Do we have a second?
Second, Chip.
Thank you, sir. We got a second from Mr. Hellman. Roll call vote. Bart Howard,
Aye.
Josh Holden,
Aye.
Chip Hellman.
Aye.
Great. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. All right. That is the February minutes. Moving on to the director's report. Just a couple or a few items there. We'll go over the budget. Not a whole lot to go over with the budget. I didn't see anything outside the ordinary. We reviewed the budget through November at the last meeting. So this meeting will only be addressing the last 3 months of January through February. Nothing really jumps out at me. It seems like everything is just trending where it needs to be. Just to kind of give you a snapshot, we're looking at revenues up to this fiscal year so far of 116,000, with expenses of 62,000, with a surplus of 53,000. So I think our reserve balance is in excess of 860,000. So we're fine. I didn't see anything there that just jumped out at me. There's nothing to vote on here. This is just informational purposes. Is there any questions that any of the members had? Okay. If you do, just throughout the week or something pops up, you can just direct or email me direct, and of course I'll be happy to answer that. But that was just for your information.
This is Bart. My standard comment question is: are we collecting the fines and fees that we send out? But
we
can proceed on.
No, that's case revenue. We haven't seen much of an uptick there in that regard. Of course, we've had that discussion ongoing. Really, it's NMLS will help with a lot of that, and so we are still tracking NMLS, and it looks like there is some interest in that regard. And I think whenever we're able to transition, if that becomes possible, and that is finalized, then I think that'll greatly assist. I think we'll see those numbers increase. So. But yeah, that's kind of right now. But we are pursuing that, at least looking into that and exploring that further. That hasn't been tabled, so it's ongoing.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Bart. All right, we'll move on to the NACARA conference. We have a NACARA conference coming up. That's the North American Collection Agency Regulatory Association. It's really the only professional association for regulators inside the collection service industry. All the regulators across the country and the provinces meet once a year at this conference. This year, it'll be in Nashville. So Nashville is going to be playing host in October, which is great for us. We'll save some money on travel. What we're hoping is that since we'll be saving money on travel, we might be able to send more people this year. The registration fee is $400, but if we're not paying, obviously, travel for a lot of our members, or at least the travel would be limited, then we could definitely absorb, and especially with our reserves being over $800,000, we definitely could absorb a few more folks to go. So I know this will be Bart's last meeting, but if the other two gentlemen were so interested in pursuing that, this would be an opportunity for you to express that, and we can of course vote on that, and a couple staff members too. I'd like if it would be the will of the board to authorize myself and for Bob to go as well. And we're exploring perhaps a prorated fee if they'll allow for that. If we just go one day, I'll be giving the opening sort of welcoming comments to the conference, since we're the host city. Of course, as the only regulatory body in this state, and we want to make sure that we roll out the welcome map for them. So they've asked us to do that, and we've agreed to do that, and I'll be providing that on the opening day. So I would just need authorization to do that.
Yeah, what are the dates, first off?
It's October 4th through 7th.
Okay. First off, I'm glad to attend since it's here in Nashville. I don't have to attend, though. I think it's very important, though, that since it's here, we take full advantage of not having the travel costs and get as many of our people there as would be prudent. So I'm in full faith, full support of you and Bob going. And if there's anyone else, or it would be a meaningful conference.
Okay.
I would move that this board approve those expenditures to get you guys over there.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you, sir.
Bart, second.
Josh, did you want to attend? We can approve it, and then you can just see what your calendar looks like, and then if you can, great. If you can't, that's understandable as well. So perhaps, Mr. Hellman, if Josh, would you be willing to at least consider that in that regard?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I guess my only concern there, Glenn, is that I don't want to take a spot, or I don't want to stop someone else who might be able to go. So with that caveat, I would be fine with that.
Okay. Yes, sir.
We can play it by ear and see how things unfold. But I completely agree with what Mr. Hellman said. It's if we're going to be the host city, we need to take advantage of that, not have the travel costs, and make it available to as many people who would benefit from it as is possible.
That sounds wonderful. Okay, well, Mr. Hellman, would your motion include attendance to that conference for yourself, Mr. Holden, and then Bob and myself?
Yeah, and Bart.
Yes, sir. Yes. That's my motion, Glenn.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for that that correction, that revision. Mr. Howard's motion then is to approve travel and attendance for Josh Holden, Chip Hellman, Bob Hunter, and Glenn Kopchik to attend the NACARA conference on October 4th through 7th here in Nashville. And do we have a second?
I second it, Chip.
All right, thank you, sir. We got a motion by Bart Howard and a second by Chip Hellman. Roll call vote. Bart Howard.
Aye.
Josh Holden.
Aye.
Chip Hellman.
Aye.
Right. Thank you, gentlemen. That's approved then. We'll move on to the next item, the board meeting dates for next year. It's hard to believe, but things are flying so fast. And here we are again looking at another year. Of course, we have to block off the rooms, and so we do this well in advance. Those board meeting dates, do they look like they'll work for everybody?
I just noticed, maybe it's my calendar, but is the one next October a Thursday instead of a Wednesday?
Let me take a look.
It's not a problem, but I just want to point it out because usually you guys
Yes.
schedule these on Wednesday.
It looks like that is the case. We'll try to keep them on a Thursday, perhaps, or excuse me, a Wednesday. Thank you for noticing that. Good catch. We try to keep some sort of semblance of pattern so that way folks can sort of make those adjustments. So we'll put October 13th. So that would be January 13th, April 14th, July 14th, and October 13th. Take a look at the other dates to make sure that looks okay too. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, I checked all the others.
Okay. Yeah, so October 13th.
Do you need a motion for that?
We would, sir. If you could make such a motion, that'd be great.
I move that we set these as the dates for 2021 Collection Service Board meetings.
Okay, great. Do we have a second?
Identified.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second in that
Bart,
regard?
Bart, second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard.
Bart, second.
All right, we've got a motion by Mr. Hellman to approve those dates and then adjust the October date to the 13th to keep those on Wednesdays as well. And then a motion or a second by Bart Howard for roll call vote. Bart Howard.
Aye.
Josh Holden.
Aye.
Chip Hellman.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Those have passed. We'll get those published up on the website for next year. From our legal report, Mr. Cross.
I'll be doing that, I guess, Glenn.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Gregory. Thank you. Apologize.
That's right. All right, so I'll just read the number and the corresponding complaint number. Number 1, 2019, 101181. Number 2, 2020, 00061. Number 3, 2020, 002841. Number 4, 2020, 008661. Number 5, 2020, 014671. Number 6, 2020-007701. Number 7, 2020-014641. Number 8, 2020-18771. Number 9, 2020-009791. Number 10, 2020-023501. Number 11, 2020-028451. Number 12, 2019-091291. Number 13, 2019-087731. Number 14, 2019-087051. And that completes the rundown of what we got on the report. At this point, if anybody's got any questions or something for discussion, we can take that up at this point.
This is
Can we look at? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chip. Okay. No,
I was looking.
I beg pardon.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No,
Number
you're
2.
the chairman. You go ahead. All right.
Okay, I'm making
Go
a
ahead,
big bucks here. The number 2, are they? Is that company also representing that they're a law firm?
Well, that's the problem. We don't know. It looks like it's 2 separate entities. It appears to me that that's the respondent, the person that the complaint is lodged against, has handed off the account to a law firm. But it originally started with what appears to be a California collection agency.
Okay. Who are you going to send the letter of warning to? The lawyer or the?
To the collection agency in California.
Okay. And you know who that is?
Well, we do, because they're the ones that responded saying that their agents attempted to collect on the account in violation of company policy. So, if we.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
I'd like to talk about number 5 for just a second, please.
Yeah.
So if I'm reading this correctly, the complainant asked for validation or verification of the debt, and the respondent did not do that. So the recommendation here is that all we're doing is sending them a letter asking them to comply with the FDCPA.
Well, they say that they sent it out. Although, like I said, in that second to last sentence I've got there, they're not, they didn't make any admission of any violation, but
okay.
If we went beyond that, I mean, we might get something showing where they in fact did, and then we'd just be back to deciding whether or not we want to go any further with it.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
On that same one, and Chip, you might be able to help me with this too. Are you required to send the notice before you report it to the credit bureau?
I don't think those two necessarily relate to one another. The FDCPA says within 5 days of the initial communication, so it can be after the initial communication.
Yeah. So sending it to the credit bureau is not a communication.
No.
I think you can send it to the credit bureau and never even tell the debtor that it's been listed for collection.
In theory, I think I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's right. But the fact that they're saying that they did mail the validation notice, who knows if somebody got it out of the mailbox or it's just going to be one of those deals. So,
yeah. Well, and I might have even recommended closure, but when the respondent told us in the response that they didn't properly assist the complainant, I don't know really what that means. I mean, they may be saying, well, we didn't give them the validation, or maybe we just didn't help them from a customer service standpoint. I don't know what that means. So I think that the letter of instruction might just be sort of a good sort of compromise.
Yeah, because that's what it jumped out to me, was that they said they didn't really assist the customer. So I'm suspecting they sent that validation notice out early in the process, and then when the consumer called in, the representative didn't follow through and send the second one to, I don't know, who knows. But in the grand scheme of things, the letter is probably the right action. I mean, I'm fine with that. I just wanted to clarify.
Can we go back to number 3 for just a minute? Regarding the statute of limitations on a student loan, is there a statute of limitations on a student loan?
Well, there's if on any kind of if it's that's the thing, we don't know what this debt is. We don't know whether it's she went to the bookstore and put something on credit years ago, or whether it could be a student loan. I'd say if it's a student loan, we would have never probably seen it at this point. But if it is 30 years old, and let's say it's not a student loan, then they could still attempt collections on it. They would be outside the statute of limitations to try to sue in contract.
Yeah, thank goodness I don't have a student loan, but I thought that they did not expire with the statute. You can't bankrupt against them, and I thought you couldn't expire with the statute.
Bart, you're thankful you don't have a 30-year-old student loan, and I'm thankful I'm not trying to collect a 30-year-old student loan. Good grief.
There you go, kid. There you go. On number 8, unfortunately, counsel is unfamiliar with the term dollar calls. That a dollar call is when the accounts are placed in a telephone predictive dialing system that picks up the phone and call them. I'm sure you get plenty of calls on your telephone that are coming from a dollar. They want to sell you a credit card, or they want to fix your bad debt credit card, or something else. But that's what a predictive dialer is. I just wanted to make that comment. Are we there?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, Bart.
Okay. I'm sorry. Number 9 is who? Do we know who Plain Green is?
Dennis, did you're looking that up? Glenn?
I think Dennis lost connection.
Oh,
He's trying to get back on.
Gotcha. Okay. Hey, Bart, are you listening? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
here. I'm here.
Glenn, Plain Green is like a payday loan company or finance company.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay. This is Bart. That's all I had.
Okay. Anybody else had any questions or comments?
That's all I have. This is Chip.
From what I understand, if and someone correct me if I'm wrong, while we're waiting on Mr. Gregory to return, after reading in the complaint numbers of each of these, is everyone fine with the recommendations of each?
Yes. Do you need a motion to approve the legal report?
Yes, sir. That'd be great.
Yep.
So do we have a
So,
motion?
so moved by Hellman.
Thank you, sir. We got a motion to approve the legal report with the recommendations of council on each. Do we have a second?
Second by Josh.
Thank you, sir. We have a second from Mr. Holden on the legal report. For a roll call vote, Mr. Howard,
Aye.
Mr. Holden,
Aye.
Mr. Hellman.
Aye.
The legal report is approved with council's recommendations. That's all we had. We don't have any updates or anything further on the agenda. There is an opportunity for new business if anybody had anything that they'd like to address or bring up. Was there anything additional? Okay. Then we're at the adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Well, wait just a second before we adjourn.
Yes, sir.
Just a question for clarification. The terms of the board members and that whole process. First off, I thought I had heard that Bart at some point would be rotating off.
Yes, sir. That's
Is that
correct.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Number two, when will I be rotating off?
Let me pull you up right quick. Just let me take a look.
I think you rotate off from June, Chip.
It's soon. Let me give me just a second. I can pull it up for you. All right. It looks like this is one of the benefits of being able to have your computer right in front of you. It's June 30th.
Okay.
So but you're welcome to remain on until there's appointment or a reappointment. If you were eligible for reappointment, typically the governor's office is inclined to do that. If not, then you're able to serve indefinitely until there is an appointment for which they would notify you at that point.
Okay. I'm willing to serve as long as you want me or need me to serve or to get reappointed or whatever. I just wasn't sure what the process
Yes, sir.
is, if there's anything we need to do from our end, or we just stay silent and keep working when we're called upon. And
that's it.
Okay.
They're inclined to, if anyone's eligible, they've unless the person has indicated interest not to do so, the governor's office has been inclined to make those reappointments. So they just ask that if folks would be willing to assist with quorum until the appointments or the reappointments are made. So yep, we're just hard at it. Keep going until our next meeting. Which let me take a look at our next meeting. Our next meeting is in August at some point. It's August the 12th.
Okay, better double check and make sure I have that one.
There's a motion on the table to adjourn. I vote aye.
All right, sounds great.
I've got
I'll second the motion.
All right, well that's good, Mr. Hellman. Did you have your question answered? And then you can always reach out to me directly if you have any further questions on that.
Yeah, no, that's all I had, and I'll second Bart's motion and vote aye also.
All right, so we've got Bart Howard. He has motion adjourned. Chip Hellman has seconded. For roll call vote, Bart Howard.
Aye.
Josh Holden.
Aye.
Chip Hellman.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate you helping
Thank
us
you,
today.
gentlemen.
Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye.